Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how I think the AI film industry and a few AI influencers out there are not understanding how to think and talk about Sora's new model and product. Because I think we don't think about it correctly. We think about things in terms of video output, which is, to be fair to these folks who think that, they're thinking about things based on the last 6 to 8 months of video generation output, right? Every other week, there's been a new model that's come out that has lapped the other models because, hey, the training runs have finished. They have a new model. They showcase it to the rest of the internet. And the internet goes wild about, oh my gosh, Hylua is beating Runway. Runway is beating Luma. Luma is beating, whatever. And today we have Sora, which is a new product this week. And it's like, people are judging it based on that. And I think that's the wrong conversation to be having. I think that we should be thinking about product and features and how those product and features influence the future of a product. Now, I'm biased. I was in the Sora Alpha Creator Program. I've been playing it with it for the last few months and really getting to know and interacting with other people who are playing with the model and, making it sing, frankly. And I think the way that, one analog I think we can think about this is Midjourney and its competitors. And in that way, I do think that there is a parallel here where Sora kind of represents, in a way, the Midjourney to the video models. Because the video model output, to be fair, like definitely there you can do a one-to-one generation, which I did in my in my YouTube channel, of like Sora versus Hylua versus Runway versus Luma and all that, and you can see how they generate, and they're kind of neck and neck in different ways. Like some are better than others, and I think this is just like when you compare ChatGPT to Claude to Gemini and Grok and others, where in some ways they're neck and neck when we're benchmarking different things like math, science, thinking, writing, etc. But in some ways they kind of have their own personality. Some are more safe, some are more creative, some are more kind of crazy, or some are more hallucinatory. I think that's all makes sense to me because that's how I think about the video generation models as well. Some are better at a particular type of animation. Some are better at a particular type of feature set of being able to use motion brush and things like that. And so as a result, I think that that's how we should be thinking about it in terms of product and features, because that is what is probably going to be used for these product teams to like figure out what is the best video, right? Like, so let's just jump into Midjourney. I'll show you what I mean. So with Midjourney, it's a fairly granular model, in my opinion, and product. And what do I mean by that? If you could go into Midjourney, you could type in what I typed in here, rabbit walking down the street, right? And all I have to do is type in here, and then I'll generate that. And it'll come up with probably mostly photorealistic styles, which are generated here, and it'll come out with that nice output, right? That's cool. But if we jump into the explore function here in Midjourney, you're gonna see immediately what other people are generating in the space. And it gets really granular, right? From here, this guy right here, this artist, Polks Vinet, is he not only wrote Dust Photography, The Manic Banker, and His Anxiety, so something that he has thought about, and then like he's used these images as references for his own image, right? And so like that is one feature that generally most of the other photo image generators do not have, if not having it at all. And then look at the level of granularity here. This person wrote a lot to figure out how to achieve this. I can just go on and on, right? There's a lot of things that these people are doing where you can look at what they're doing. They're mixing photos together. They're prompting it in a fairly detailed way with, very specific art inspirations. And then some people like really know what fashion they're referring to achieve what they get, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's even features within Midjourney where I can use, let's say, a character as a reference. So in this case, this man here is being used as a reference to generate other images. Of course, it's not going to get always what you want, right? And if you prompt it incorrectly, you're not going to get exactly what you want. But that's the skill. That's the craft that you're trying to get to, right? And in order to make these things sing, that's what you need to do. It's like you're massaging the model. You're massaging the model through all these feature tools that the products are giving you, through these companies are giving you. So I think that's where we should be thinking about it. I mean, if you go into Flux, which is awesome, I'm using Korea.ai right now, which is It's just a great company that combines a lot of different models. It allows you to essentially do all of these things together. But it only recently released an edit model in alpha, right? You can't even get access to this unless you pay, or have been let into the creator program. But here, like if I'm in this image, for example, I cannot edit this. There's no editing tool. I can generate a video from it. Yes, that's awesome, but I can't edit it. And that level of granularity is what has allowed Midjourney to be so powerful. Now, with Sora, I think there are 4 things or 5 things worth thinking about, right? There is upscaling, storyboard, remix, blend, and recut. I almost forgot everything there. So storyboard, recut, remix, blend, and upscale. Those 5 features alone make Sora very different from the current generation of video models and make it competitive long-term in a certain way. I mean, when you think about it, how are these products built? Product teams have some level of creativity, and then they're getting a lot of feedback from the market and feedback from their users on how they should adjust their features to what is good and what's bad coming out of the outputs that they want. So Midjourney is in this huge advantage, and they know this, right? They are using personalized. They also have tasks where they get people to give surveys and give them help them understand what is good or bad. And that is giving them a massive advantage in the space because they're getting more and more aesthetic, more artistry over time. They understand what kind of illustrator style this is and why people like this illustrator style, because they get to interact with all these little, bobs and buttons as a part of their interface, right? Sora, I think, is similar in that sense, right? So if I can show you this in storyboard, you've got this storyboard feature, which of course, if you go down here, it allows me to change the aspect ratio. It allows me to upscale, which is key, I mentioned earlier. So like you can actually dump a video in here and have Sora upscale it for you. That is wild, right? That is a very underrated feature that people aren't talking about. You can generate up to 20 seconds. Most models at max, I think Runway is at 10. And so 20 is huge. Doing 4 variations, huge. Most models only do at max 2. So most even just 1. So 4 is huge. And then having presets is also huge. It allows you to essentially nudge the model to be in a certain art style, like a photography style or an illustrator style or what have you, right? So you can literally inspire the style in here. I won't get into how these work because I've done other videos on that, but this is where it's very powerful. Like no one allows you right now. Like right now I could do a 20-second clip and I could upload in each of these boxes here an image or a video and have that be a part of the sequence of scenes in one given video of output that I can output 4 variations. Like this is not being talked about by folks who are saying, hey, look, they're just talking about, hey, my reverse Sora after paying, sometimes it produces something great, something you can get results elsewhere. This is ignoring the fact that based on output, I can go in there and I can like change something. This person also here is saying, hey, look, we thought Sora would take AI to the next level, but in the end, open source models have been proven to be far superior. I don't think that's true. And also this person is comparing an open source model, which to be fair, Hunyuan is probably awesome. But, and I've seen a lot of results, which are really awesome. But this is a model that is sans product. It does not have a product, so you cannot be nudging it in any particular direction, which is kind of what Flux is, right? Flux is really impressive. It's generating things at a Midjourney level, really cool, but it doesn't have a product, and therefore they can't make those aesthetic adjustments that Midjourney is making on a daily, if not a monthly, if not daily basis, and they can't adjust literally what the outputs are. Like I can go in here, I can change it. I'm not going to do any video outputs here. I've done that in other videos, so you can check those out. But you can see here, like for example, like what I did in this particular storyboard is I just went in here, I uploaded, or I had this video, and then I changed it to say turn into a thunderstorm. And then were the outputs? And don't get me wrong, there are definitely errors here, but it allowed me to adjust the next 8 seconds. No other model currently does that, right? What you can do is allow for 2 keyframes, right? So in the case of Kling AI, you can do this where you can like essentially do 2 different images and have them lead into each other. Same thing with Runway, definitely. Oops, we're a crash report here. And you can essentially jump into a generative session and do first to last, right? If I upload here, I can upload two, and then Dream Machine, I can also do the same thing here. I can upload two different images, right? And let's say I uploaded that, and then I can have an end frame here, and I can lead one into the next. Awesome. But what Sora is doing differently here is I can upload 10 images and create one entire video sequence using 10 different images. That's very, very powerful. That's a different approach. And that's what should be talked about, is the approach here. Next, I will say recut, right? So if I showed just for a second there a recut earlier, let's say that I made this video and I tried to blend it. So that's a blend we'll get into a second. And I didn't like, what it did here. It's weird. It warped this here, which is just normal. Like, they're all hallucinating. And that's a fair criticism to have, that it hallucinates a lot. But maybe that's also creativity. Here, what I can do is I can recut all the way down to here, and I can just select, hey, I only like this 1 second here. And I can also nudge it here in direction. I can make, say, a thunderstorm or whatever, or I can just click on here, and I just want it to generate the remaining 6 to 7 seconds here, and I can click on create, and I'm just gonna do that. And the beauty of recut in particular, no one else is doing this, first of all, but the beauty of this in particular is that I can select what I liked, and now the model understands what I like and can generate the rest of it. This is a very nuanced thing that is very powerful. Another thing that you can do is remix. I can literally go in here. Actually, this is not a great video to do this with, but I can literally go into this one. For example, I can click on remix, and I can say change the change the trees into Christmas trees, and it will change objects in this video, right, to Christmas trees. It will change those Joshua trees ideally into Christmas trees. Now again, I say ideally because this is a craft, this is a skill. It takes time to play with, to get to know, to massage, to figure out what works, what doesn't work. This is one of those things where it's just like ChatGPT when you're prompting, or Claude when you're prompting. You have to know how to communicate to the AI in order to get the most out of it. Same thing here. All of these features allow for that granularity though. These are different types of features. Blend, which I showed you earlier, what I essentially did was I took this video here and I blended it with this video here, and then it came up with this video where you've got both the desert jumping into this video of the woman dancing around, dancing around on a tennis court. And so it did all this weird stuff, but this can get really creative, right? Think about how I could do this if I'm doing like something abstract or some kind of like Illustrator style, and I'm having it blend together two videos. This is where things get really interesting. Blend is a very creative feature in the same way, in my opinion, that Midjourney allows for weirdness and variety, right? Like I think about those in the same way that I think about this blend feature. And so I think this is where I really, really strongly push back on the model. I did a whole video about this one as well, like this whole open letter, about OpenAI and how they were not happy with OpenAI doing all this, like blah, blah, blah. But in their thing, they seeded the conversation with this idea that we should be thinking about things in terms of video output, and completely ignore the fact that this is a product. And I'll say this, and I said this in this other video, I'll say it again, like these people, in my opinion, fail to understand, these folks who signed this letter fail to understand what is the value that is being put forward by Sora that is different from all these other models, which is all those features that I just showed. Blend, recut, remix, storyboard, upscale. Like these are very different features that the rest of the market is not quite doing yet. And so I think that the rest of the market is going to have to respond. Runway, Luma Dream Machine, Lua AI, they're probably looking at this and probably are going to adapt to this. They might also have their own paths. I mean, to be fair, Luma Dream Machine, I don't think it gets enough credit for creating this boards feature, which is very itself powerful, because I can essentially go in here and talk to the model in a way that maybe in some ways ChatGPT can do, but here I have it in a video model. So in ChatGPT, right, I can go in and have it like generate a rabbit, create an image of a rabbit. Here, it's gonna take me a hot second. So just like Midjourney, it does have a slight editing feature, not as powerful, not as diverse. It doesn't have all these features that we're even looking at right now. It doesn't have like character reference, and like, so if I go in here, I can jump in here, I can use character reference or style reference or image reference. I can, also take the prompt as an inspiration, all these kind of stuff like that. And I can very subtle, very strong, upscale, like all Midjourney is really impressive in terms of image generation. It is just so stellar. Easily my favorite tool. But ChatGPT does have, it didn't generate completely, but it does have the ability to generate an image, and then you can edit within that image, right? But it's not as granular, not as powerful, and certainly doesn't have that level of aesthetic. If I click in on here, as you can see, I can like change this rabbit, right, to a different, let's see here, I can like turn it into a dog, right? I can say like turn into a dog, and I can talk to it, right? So like what Luma Dream Machine has recently come out with is this boards feature, which allows a similar thing, but one, it allows you to generate 4 at the same time. You can make video based on any of these. You can use those as reference, which again Midjourney has, right? And it can make more, like, so it has that vary feature. And it also has the ability to modify, but this is all, texting modifying. It doesn't have that kind of like editing feature that Midjourney has. So again, this is where I think the conversation should be, not in terms of merely output. Focusing on only output misses the point. And I think, when I look at folks who are jumping into Twitter and they're saying, oh, Sora sucks, Sora's mid, to be like, I think they're right when they say, hey, it's expensive. $200 a month is a lot, more than most of what these models cost. But look, people are paying $120 for Midjourney, right? I mean, let's look at the Midjourney subscription, right? Like, I currently have the highest subscription layer. There's $10 to $120 a month. Like, dude, you're talking, Sora is $200 a month for a video model. Hailua, Kling, like, these are all anywhere from 10 to also $200 a month. Runway costs a lot to run. Like, these credits are not cheap, right? So like, think about that. Let's not get all mixed up in first video outputs and things like that are not really defining the conversation in the way that I think these people think it is. I think product is really where things are going to go. And I bet you that in the next few weeks, we're going to see better and better outputs of Sora. 10 million people got access to it on Monday, essentially, of at least the baseline model. So like 10 million people now can at least generate and get used to the interface. A small percentage of them, maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 30, 50% of those people will start getting used to the tool and using all the features that I just showed you. And then we're going to start to see a lot of people singing, right? It'll start to make these models sing. So I hope that helps the conversation here, pushes it forward a little bit. I welcome all the conversation around it. Again, I am biased. I've been in the Alpha Creator program, but I think this is a conversation worth having, right? And look at that. By the way, you can see it. I turned all my trees here, and I even gave it some snow. So there you go. So I hope that gives you a sense of how to think about this, and I welcome any conversation and hope to talk to you guys real soon. So see you in the next one.